Hi friends, welcome back for another Sun, Moon, and Stars lesson. This is week 9, day 5. For today's lesson, all you need is your thinking cap and your listening ears. To get our lesson started, we are going to play a game. This game is called I Spy with My Little Eye. I have placed some images or photographs of objects that are in the sky: moon, stars, and sun. I am going to look at one of them and then give you clues as to which one I'm looking at. Then you will have to guess which one my little eye spies. Are you ready to play the game? Okay. Now I'm going to take my face off of the screen because I don't want you to have any clues about which one I'm looking at. Are you ready? All right, turn those ears on. I spy with my little eye an object in space that goes through phases. The object seems to change size throughout time. Okay, what object is it? Yes, that's right. The moon. Okay, let's do another one. I spy with my little eye an object in space that we can only see during the day. What is it? You got it again. The sun. Okay, one more. Now this one's pretty easy. I spy with my little eye an object or objects in space that are the farthest away from Earth. What is it? That's right. Stars. Good job. Man, I thought I could fool you on some of those. Okay, now that we've gotten our brain thinking about objects in the sky, let's take a peek at our learning target for today. Today's learning target says, I can ask and answer questions about day based on the text, what the sun sees, what the moon sees. Notice that I've underlined the word day, and that's because our focus for today is only what the sun sees during the day. Just like our day 3 lesson, we are going to comb through our book what the sun sees, what the moon sees, and we're going to stop on just a few of the pages, not all of them, and ask and answer some questions. That'll help us describe what the sun sees. Now remember, does the sun really have eyeballs? No way! But we are pretending, just like our author did when she used her imagination, to think about and write about what the sun would see if the sun were to look down into the daytime on Earth. Okay, now like I said, we aren't going to read every single page, but we will stop along the way, and then at the end, we'll read the whole thing and shout out all the things that we see. Because this book is double-sided, we'll be starting on this side, what the sun sees. Are you ready to listen and read along? All right, let me make myself a little bit smaller over here.
What the Sun Sees. What the Moon Sees by Nancy Teferi. Narrated by Waverly Clemens. The sun sees blue skies. The sun sees crowded barnyards.
Let's stop on this page. Take a close look at that illustration. What do you see in the illustration that helps you to know that it's a crowded barnyard? What do you see? That's right, you see lots of animals. And when you look at the illustration, there's very little space. The animals are very close together. Now, the author, she gave us a clue word, an adjective. The sun sees crowded barnyards. What was the adjective that she gave? Crowded. And crowded means that it's full and that there's no space. We can add crowded to our adjectives chart later on. Let's keep reading our text to see what else the sun can see.
The sun sees sleeping owls. The sun sees bustling streets.
What do you see in this illustration that helps you to know that the streets are bustling? What do you see? Yes, we see lots of people, and it looks like there's lots of movement going on. People are walking, they're close together, they're crowded. We can see that there's cars, and we know that the author gave us that clue word or that adjective, bustling. Say that word with me, bustling. Bustling is the same as busy. We can add that word onto our adjectives chart because it's describing the street. Okay, let's keep reading.
The sun sees noisy playgrounds.
What do you see in this illustration that helps you know that it's a noisy playground? What do you see? We see kids playing, we can see them talking and running around and using the playground. So we know that it's probably very noisy, isn't it? And we know that that adjective word, noisy, means very loud. We'll have to add that word to our chart too. Now, so far, we have come up with a small list of adjectives to add to our chart. Let's go ahead and look at that chart. Down at the bottom, you'll see that I have boxed in yellow some of the words that we would like to add to our chart. Crowded, bustling, noisy. Will you read those words with me? Crowded, bustling, noisy. These are the words that came from the sun side of the book, what the sun sees. Now, what's really interesting is if we were to take out these adjectives out of our sentences, well, our sentences would be very boring and they wouldn't be very descriptive. For example, listen to this sentence, okay? I'm going to use the crowded. I'm going to take that word out. The sun sees a barnyard. Well, what kind of barnyard? Without that word crowded, we can't really know much about the barnyard. Let's look at bustling. The sun sees streets. Well, that's pretty boring. We don't know anything about the streets. These adjectives are descriptors for our nouns, and they add so much to our sentences. Later on in Unit 3, we're going to be using all of these adjectives to write poems, to make our poems more descriptive and interesting. I've also noticed a pattern, or maybe you could say a connection. These words in yellow, those are the words from the sun part of the text. These 3 bold words are from the moon. Listen to the words: quiet, empty, silent. That's what the moon sees. Crowded, bustling, noisy. That's what the sun sees. Do you see that in a way, those words or groups of words are opposite? Quiet versus bustling. Crowded versus empty. Or silent versus noisy. Do you see how they are entirely different? Yeah, I think the author is trying to show us through the adjectives that the sun and the moon, they see completely different things. And that's because night and day are so different. Interesting, huh? We are going to go back and read the entire sun portion of our text, even the pages that we skipped before. And as we're reading, I want you to shout out all the things that you see, all the things that you think the sun sees. I'll do it too. Then at the end, we'll make a chart from the notes that I've taken, and then I'll listen to some of the things that you've shared out. I'm going to take myself off of the screen so that you can really focus. I will shout out every now and then just to let you know what I see. Are you ready? Okay.
What the Sun Sees. What the Moon Sees by Nancy Teferi. Narrated by Waverly Clemens. The sun sees blue skies. The sun sees crowded barnyards. The sun sees sleeping owls. The sun sees bustling streets. The sun sees noisy playgrounds.
I see kids that are talking and yelling.
The sun sees rolling meadows.
I see bright light and animals.
The sun sees busy children. And the sun watches until the moon comes up.
Good job, friends. I hope that you were able to name and call out a bunch of things that you saw in our text and identify them as what the sun sees. Let's put some of these things into an anchor chart. We will use this chart later on in the unit. Here is the sun sees anchor chart. Read along with me. The sun sees blue skies, crowded barnyards, sleeping owls, bustling streets, noisy playgrounds, rolling meadows, and busy children. This list is quite different from what the moon sees, isn't it? Like I said, we'll be using this chart and the adjective chart later on in the unit when it's time for us to write our own poetry. Let's look at the learning target before we say goodbye. Today's target said, I can ask and answer questions about day based on the text, what the sun sees, what the moon sees. Were you able to ask and answer questions about day? Yes, you were. As we were reading this text, we stopped along the way to ask and answer questions. Good job, friends, discussing what the sun sees. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.